The following changes have occurred over the past 24 hours. There is still active fighting in the Kupyansk area. In the western part of the city, in the area of the surrounded hospital, the fighters continue to hold their position and repel the attacks of the Ukrainian armed forces. Russian troops are trying to restore full communication with the heroes in order to unblock them with weapons of destruction. 2 enemy points were destroyed south of this medical facility. Earlier, a sniper and a firing position of the armed forces of Ukraine from the northeast were eliminated. The enemy himself continues to stay slightly to the north to prevent a deadlock. Both sides are bringing personnel into the city for further military operations for the western part of Kupyansk. Information was received from local operators that the enemy's manpower had begun to withdraw from the center to the southwestern part of the city. It is possible that it could be a rotation. The highest intensity remains on the left bank of the Oskol River. In the northeastern part of Kupyansk, Russian assault groups are fighting with the enemy for industrial enterprises. There is a process going on through Podol to accumulate forces closer to Kupyansk-Zlove, as it is the main hub of defense. In the area from Stepovaya Novosilovka to Kurilovka, the soldiers are also trying to push through the enemy to accumulate forces in front of Kupyansk-Uzlovoye, but from the eastern side, the enemy's defenses are scattered. Small assault groups penetrate the territory of Kurilovka. The Ukrainian armed forces is also deploying UAV control points there. In this action, one of these points was found in the eastern half of the village. The operators, using lightning, struck her. Enemy activity against the Russian infantry has temporarily decreased. As before, work is underway to intercept the grenade-dropping drones. Closer to the eastern edge, 2 Ukrainian hexacopters were separately paraded. In approximately the same place, the Russian operators neutralized them with a battering ram. An example of one is shown. The enemy, despite the defeat, does not often change the launch sites in unmanned aerial vehicles. One of these sites was discovered in the western half of Kurilovka. In mid-December, drone operators eliminated control points in a nearby building. In this event, the second point, which was located just to the west, was destroyed. There is also visually a high activity in the smoking area. South of Peshanovo, the enemy designated a fortification, which is held by the Russian side. The kamikaze hit him with drops and drones. To the east of Peshanovo, the enemy's processing was recorded as much as possible in a video posted on January 6th. After that, there were no signs of the Ukrainian armed forces. On the eastern side, the gray zone is decreasing in a positive direction to Peshanovo. The enemy persistently conducts attacks from the south in order to prevent further loss of positions. So far, this village and the fortification to the south mostly belong more to the gray zone. Fighting continues in the Dobropolsky area. From the north of Artemovka, the soldiers, after engaging in Novopavlovka, pushed through the enemy's positions, where they liberated this village. The Russian side is systematically moving north to approach Grushkovka. In the area of the new Donbas, Russian troops are developing an offensive towards Dobropolia, as well as north of Rosa Luxemburg. There is a bit of added promotion in their territories. There is a working process going on to the south to approach Belitsky. In one example, in the western part of the city, the Ukrainian armed forces abandoned a car facing south before the drone was hit. After its destruction, the burning of the equipment was shown during the flight. Gorenje, there is information that the guards reached the turn of the Dobropilya-Rodinskaya highway to the north. Logistics for the enemy in the upcoming battles for Belitskoye are gradually being cut off. In this case, most likely, the Ukrainian armed forces were moving along the route through the Belitskoye mine. There is also an anti-drone struggle, as the enemy is mainly trying to slow down the advance with the help of drones. In the southwestern part of the city, the military discovered a UAV control point. The moment of the hit from afar was also filmed. In addition to the UAV launch sites, drones are actively intercepted during barging. A week ago, the Marine Corps group broke its own daily record. During the day, 18 enemy drones were shot down. It was 17 before that. There is a continuous process for air control. Between Beletsky and Rodinsky, in addition to the Zaporozhka mine, there is also the Vodyanskaya mine number 2, which the enemy also uses as an industrial support point. Near its eastern outskirts, the operators eliminated the transport of the armed forces of Ukraine. The mine itself is an additional obstacle to approaching the Shevchenko-Svetloye site. In the eastern coverage of Grishin, the fighters continued their offensive to improve the situation in the forest plantations and in the territory of the agro-industrial complex Invest. In the area of Kurilovka, Dnipropetrovsk region, the processing of Ukrainian forces with the involvement of aviation is still being observed. In this action, 3 Fab 500s hit the positions of the 5th Ukrainian Brigade in its central part. The section is temporarily more related to the positional one. The priority is the development of the offensive from the northeast, in the area of Novopavlovka. A positive clarification is being made near the northeastern outskirts of Ivanovka. In Novopavlovka and its surroundings, soldiers are gradually breaking down the Ukrainian defenses. Russian troops continue to hit Ukrainian military installations. In the Dnipro region east of Shevchenko, the enemy deployed the Patriot air and missile defense system. The Russian side chose the place of destruction, where there was a radar station, a combat control cabin, and a diesel-electric station. The Iskander crew, having received the data, launched a missile strike at this point. As a result of the hit, the listed pieces of equipment were destroyed, taking into account the information of the source. There is a railway bridge near the western part of Vasilkovka. The drone strike hit him. The resulting fire lasted more than 3 hours. The drone contained a thermite mixture, which made it difficult for the enemy to suffocate this structure. Additional damage has been done. This is not the only defeat of this bridge. At the end of October, Geranium-2 struck him. Work is also underway on the AFU in the territory of the operational rear, so that the enemy does not deliver reinforcements to the front line in a timely manner. In this case, in the area of Pokrovsky and Gavrilovka, across the Volchya River. The fighting continues.